Welcome back to Inside the Boardroom at CEO.CA. Now, in the world of critical metals, molybdenum often flies under the radar, despite its crucial role in modern manufacturing. From strengthening steel for wind turbines to enabling nuclear reactors and electric vehicle infrastructure, this versatile metal has become increasingly strategic for both traditional industry and the clean energy transition. Today, we're with Paul Parisotto, who is president and CEO of Moon River Moly, to discuss the latest at the company's Davidson Molybdenum Project. Paul, thank you for being here. Would appreciate you just going over the basics, the overview of Davidson for the audience.
The Davidson Molybdenum Tungsten deposit is located in northern British Columbia, right in the town of Smithers. It's literally a 10 or 15 minute drive to the deposit in a road that will need to be upgraded, or it's a 20-second helicopter ride from the airport. So it's located in an ideal infrastructure. It is one of the highest grade, if not the highest grade, pure molybdenum deposit in the world. It has access to a workforce. It has access to clean power. It has everything that you're looking for in a deposit. And earlier this year in February, we announced the results of a preliminary economic analysis. And that economic analysis suggested that the mine could produce 10 million pounds of molybdenum a year for at least 20 years, if not much longer. And the all-in sustaining cost to produce a pound of molybdenum would be about $8 US. We did the study using the 2-year historical average of molybdenum, and that was $21.50. And Moly is currently trading very close to $22 US a pound. So it's a little bit higher today than it was when we did the study. And that study showed that the after-tax net present value of the deposit at an 8% discount rate was just over $600 million Canadian. The all-in, the capital to build the mine is about $575 million, and $110 million of that is contingencies.
All right, given the basics of the PEA, I'm curious about actionable steps you've taken since its release in February.
That's a great question, and that's where I was going in my answer a few moments ago. So when we did the PEA, we quickly realized that there's a large tungsten forms a large part of the deposit. And so we wanted to do some work to see what the recoveries could be for tungsten, as well as rare earths that we identified, copper and gallium. In order to do that, we had to do a small 2 drill hole program this summer, which we completed to give us fresh drill core that we then sent to the lab. It's at the lab right now for processing, so we can determine what the recoveries are for these byproduct metals that form part of the Davidson deposit. And to assist in that work, we had SGS, world-renowned laboratory, do some work for us to help us determine what if we could recover these metals and what it would look like. And that early work suggested that we likely can recover economically tungsten and copper. We're not sure yet on the rare earths, and we're not sure on the gallium, but we're encouraged enough from that work that we are now we've already started the process to calculate what the tungsten resource looks like. We have lots of data. We have to update it to make sure we comply with 43101 standards, as well as the copper. So once we have the resource estimate complete, and once we have the test work back from the laboratory, and we should have those at the end of this year or early next year, we'll update the PEA. And we're hopeful that the new numbers will significantly add to the NPV of the project and lower the all-in sustaining costs that will take us towards the bottom, if not, one of the lowest cost molybdenum producers in the world. That's the hope. And so far, we're encouraged with how the work is going. But until we have the test results back, we don't know conclusively.
We won't know for sure.
Yes, exactly.
Now, copper applications are more widely understood compared to tungsten. I'm curious about why tungsten and why it's such an important part of the company's next steps right now.
Molybdenum's been in use since the 50s. It's been growing at about 4% a year back in the 50s, the worldwide consumption was 30 million pounds. We're now at 640 million pounds. And it's used, for those people that don't know, it's used to make steel stronger, and it has many anti-corrosive properties, and it's used in an alloy. It has many applications, and it's irreplaceable. So it's a critical mineral in Canada. It's a critical mineral in the EU. It's not a critical mineral in the United States. So if we're going to decarbonize our economy, we need more molybdenum. And now that we have tungsten, it really makes it interesting, because tungsten is a critical mineral in the United States, and it has many military applications. And as far as I know, and I could be wrong on this, but there's only one small tungsten mine in production in all of North and South America, and it's in Bolivia. So, if we could be successful here and advance our project and be able to produce tungsten, I think that would be, very interesting to the United States and to Canada, for that matter.
So educate me here. So being a critical mineral on the molybdenum side here in Canada versus,
right,
or as well as being a critical mineral in the US makes you especially competitive compared to your peers?
I think it does. There's only a handful of primary molybdenum mines in production in the world. There's a couple in the United States. There's a few in China, and that's it. Most of the world's moly comes from, as a byproduct, from copper mines. About 3/4 of annual molybdenum supply comes from copper mines. But there's fewer, even though copper demand is critical going forward, there's not that many mines that are slated to come into production. And so some of that molybdenum amount is coming down. That's debatable. People have different views on that, but we're bullish on where the demand for molybdenum is going, and our role in filling that demand.
Now, before we have to wrap it up here, anything that's coming up for the company that we can keep our eyes peeled for the next few months?
Oh, I think the key things are in the next few months are announcing a tungsten resource. And,
right, what we just discussed.
The results of our metallurgical test work, and then updating our PEA. Those are the key elements. And the key things that I think the market should be expecting from us. We are doing some work on our Endako deposit, but that's a ways out from us determining, where that's going to go exactly.
Got it. Well, we'll have to wrap it up there for now. That's Paul Parisotto of Moon River Moly, MOO or MOO on the Venture Exchange. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time in another great episode.
Thank you very much.